Welcome back to Hot Takes, my boys. It's the MMA series I'm doing where y'all submit to me your controversial MMA and UFC hot takes and opinions. We're here to go over them. I'm going to tell y'all if I agree or disagree with it. I'm going to see where y'all are at the spectrum here, and I'm going to see how hot of a take it really is. So as usual, my boys, thank you so very much for submitting all your guys' hot takes to me. I'm feeling we got some good ones this week, alright? I'm excited to just jump into it here, okay? Starting off with the first one, though. Mr. FN McChens, okay, saying that Jon Jones isn't top 5. He cheated. He ducked and he has some questionable decisions. This is the type of take where I think it's hot enough and it's good enough to where I would make it like the thumbnail or the title of the video if people weren't so sick of Jon Jones. If people weren't so goddamn sick of this guy even being in the conversation anymore. And it's honestly been baffling as a fan to just see him slowly fall out from kind of undeniable GOAT status to now a lot of people like you, Mr. Chens, are saying that he doesn't even deserve to be in the top 5, okay? And for somebody like me, I fucking hate Jon Jones. Truly the only UFC fighter in the history of my time as a fan of the sport. I've never really disliked somebody this much, man. Usually, even the fighters I dislike, I can respect them, but I know what you're saying. I recognize it. All right, I'm like the tribal chief. I see you. I recognize you, okay? He did cheat. He did duck. And again, the questionable decisions against Smith, Santos, really that whole 2018 to 2020 run of just the constant kind of title defenses. He was being relatively active, but these close razor split decisions, and then just straight up losing to Reyes, and even in the past, in the big old 2010s and all this shit, man, like he's had his bit of questionable decisions in general. I understand not making him top 5. Me personally, as much as I fucking despise the guy, he's in my top 5 because I can't deny the resume. But honestly, if you really want to be that guy that's just getting rid of Jon Jones in the top 5 because you really think that steroids and the cheating and the ducking of Aspinall and the ducking of Francis Ngannou and the ducking of the Dominic Reyes rematch that he deserved. It's crazy to say because after that, man, it seems like ever since Jones, whenever he faces adversity, he either fucking bounces for 3 years like he's going in the hyperbolic time chamber, or he comes up with every excuse in the book as to why he can't fight, or he's pulling out, he's hitting pregnant ladies with his car in another hit and run. It's crazy with Jon Jones. Genuinely an embarrassment to the sport. Somebody you don't fucking want to be your GOAT. So for whatever reason it is, for how he embarrassed the heavyweight division over the past 2 fucking years and beyond, okay? And beyond. I feel like that there's so many reasons when you look at the entire career of Jon Jones as to why it is pretty fair to remove him from the top 5. I feel like if you're going to remove Jones from the top 5, though, there are a couple other athletes maybe that you kind of got to remove as well or move down. But with Jones specifically, he has so fucking much to the point where he's collecting them like fucking infinity stones. Jon Jones has been collecting up fuck-ups since literally the beginning of time, okay? And for that, man, I totally see what you're saying. I feel like that this is a hot take because there's people like me and a lot of people that even though most of us kind of hate Jon Jones, we kind of recognize that he is top 5, but this isn't, I mean, it's a hot take, but it's not too hot of a take. I see what you're saying, and I respect it, sir, okay? Moving on to next to JB Game saying that Adesanya as champ was underwhelming. His rise to stardom was elite, some Naruto shit. He didn't say that, I'm sorry. But him as the champion, he had multiple stinkers. Now, honestly, man, it's kind of a hot take depending on who you're talking to, okay? If you're talking to somebody who has Izzy in the top 10 or somebody that loves Adesanya like it's his own father, okay? Then they're probably going to shun you for this take, but I don't think it's that hot of a take. Yes, Adesanya did have the stardom, but you got to realize he would have actually become a Topuria or whatever the fuck, a McGregor damn near, maybe not that level, but my point is he would have been some level of superstar bigger than he was if he actually put on exciting performances consistently. Look at a guy like Alex Pereira. He doesn't see a fucking blink. Imagine if he had like Adesanya's charisma or Adesanya's like fan base or the way that he's able to do social media, whatever the fuck it is. I sound like a fucking boomer, okay? I sound like Baldy Uncle Dana. Yeah, what was the question? Adesanya's numbers, they're off the roof, okay? But seriously, like, I understand this take, man. His rise to stardom, yes, it was elite. He was racking up a lot of good wins, finishes here and there as well, a lot more finishes in the actual title run. Not to say he was incapable of it, but man, the Marvin Vettori fight, the rematch, I should say, the fucking Jared Cannonier fight, the Yoel Romero fight, there's fucking more as well, okay? Yes, Adesanya did have a couple finishes, okay? Yes, he knocked out Whitaker. Yes, he knocked out Pereira in the rematch. And the first fight was even fun. But man, it was just so inconsistent with Adesanya's title reign. He could have been an even bigger star if he was consistently putting out amazing performances. This is what I was trying to say earlier. Imagine if you had Adesanya and the aura, I'm using that in heavy quotes here, the aura that he did have, but he was getting the finishes and exciting performances. And being, I mean, he was very active. I got to give it to him. He was a very active champion. And he didn't stray away from any of his contenders. That's part of why Uncle Dana had the hard eyes for him. But in general, it was underwhelming. You kind of expected going into each fight like, oh, it's an Adesanya main event. We might get a banger. We might get a finish. We might get some trash talking. Maybe you got one of those things, but it really was a stinker a lot of the time. And it wasn't just like one of these champions who, oh, they have a stinker here and there or something like that. It was very kind of consistent with Adesanya. It was underwhelming, man. He was doing kind of just enough to win on the judges' scorecards. And towards the end of the career as well, like the shit he was saying on the mic just fizzled out. And then after losing to Blachowicz, especially, I feel like shit was kind of dying down for Adesanya. So honestly, this might be a hot take depending on who you're talking to, but for me personally, man, I mean, I'm cool with Adesanya. There's times where I've loved him, and there's times where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking move on from this. I'm gonna pretend like you're that kid in the hallway that's a yapper, and I'm trying to avoid eye contact and look the other way so I don't run into a conversation with you. That's how I felt about Adesanya sometimes as well, man. So honestly, hot take for some, but I kind of agree with this, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna take away from his legacy, but his actual reign was a bit underwhelming, okay? Moving on up next to Rockets Requiem, saying that it sounds like a fucking mid-2000s movie. I kind of fuck with that, bro. It's intense, okay? Saying that people give Arman Tsarukyan way too much shit for ducking a rematch with Mateusz Gamrot. He arguably got robbed in their first fight, true. And even if he did win a rematch, it wouldn't guarantee him a title shot, true once again. Honestly, if Gamrot fought Paddy Pimblett or Justin Gaethje, I'd probably favor him against both. Now, this is a hot take if you're asking a lot of people. But honestly, my friend, I see what the fuck you're saying here. I really do, because I agree with you. Like, at first, for the first few months, I'm not even gonna lie, I was shitting on Tsarukyan as well. I think it was just, I think the part that people were most frustrated with is the fact that it just ruined the landscape of the lightweight division at the time. Like, it kind of gave Islam Makhachev the fight against Moicano, and that was his last fight at lightweight, and then people held that against Tsarukyan, because if Makhachev beat Tsarukyan in a rematch and then move up to welterweight, it would be even more deserved. It would have been an even better win, but the fact that Tsarukyan fucked it up, and now we're dealing with the whole Ilya and Paddy and Gaethje, nobody knows who the fuck to fight each other and all this shit. Like, it kind of did all start the whole kind of, I don't want to say the downfall of the lightweight division, because some fighters really have been active. Some fighters have been putting on bangers, and some of these fighters in the rankings haven't been ducking, but there's been such a complication at the top, it feels like, for the division ever since Tsarukyan did pull out. So I do think it gets too much shit. I honestly do. I think it's ridiculous at this point. Like, it's been 8 or 9 fucking months, okay? And here's the thing, man. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. There are so many fighters who, I guess, kind of don't get treated with the same double standard here, because, like, there are so many of your favorite fighters and your mother's favorite fighters that are pulling out of fights or doing title fights as well. And I know that some other YouTubers say this and people say this, but it is true. Like, there's a bit of a double standard for some reason with Tsarukyan specifically. People shit on him very heavily. And again, I don't blame him for not picking a rematch with Gamrot. I don't fucking blame him. If he's going to take a Pimblett matchup or a Dan Hooker or a fucking Justin Gaethje, someone that's going to get him one away from a title shot, I can understand that. But Gamrot just isn't it. I think it'd be a good fight. I think it would make sense for it to get rebooked, especially since we know, it seems like everybody knows that Tsarukyan isn't getting the next title shot, except for the hardcores, and Arman Tsarukyan himself, okay? So I get that he's in a position where he doesn't want to fight a guy like Gamrot, because again, got robbed in the first one, arguably, and shit like that. So I see what you're saying. And Gamrot, he is a good level of fighter, okay? He's a couple away from a goddamn title shot in the big old 2026. But in general, man, I see what you're saying. It is a hot take, and again, because of the reasons, the fact that he did, it was the fact that it was the day before, the day of, whatever the fuck it was, okay? And the fact that it kind of fucked up the division for a few months afterwards, it kind of left a rumble, and it kind of left a long-lasting consequential effect. I think that's why people give Arman Tsarukyan so much shit. I think also the fact that people weren't really a big fan of him in the first place either. Like, they already didn't really rock with him too much, and then the fact that he, beat Oliveira, close decision, and like, I thought that he won, a lot of people did, but you know what I'm saying? Obviously, beating Oliveira isn't going to make you beloved, so, and then just taking all the time off, the fact that the guy isn't, I think that he's an underratedly entertaining fighter, but the fact that he doesn't have a big fan base or isn't having so much fucking people lining outside of the arena door waiting for Arman Tsarukyan, I think that's kind of why people are giving him so much shit. So it's a hot take for some, but I kind of agree with you, to be honest with you. I understand what he's saying, okay? Moving on up next to Meow Zoo Zoo Zoo, my boy. I should just start calling you Meow Zoo squared or cubed, whatever the fuck it is, okay? But I'm not good with math, okay? Saying that I think that Charles Oliveira is gonna dominate Fiziev. His size, his pressure, and his clinch abilities are gonna be able to wear out Fiziev. He'll cut him open with elbows, and he'll zap out his energy with knees to the body. You sound like prime Joe Rogan right now. He'll either finish him in the later rounds or win a dominant decision with a 10-8. Meow Zoo Zoo motherfucking Zoo. This is a bold take. This is a hot take for sure. I can't even really say like, oh, some people might agree with it. But okay, genuinely, some people will agree with this, but this is a hot as fuck take, okay? You're boiling. This is a second degree burn, okay? But in general, I see what you're saying. For me personally, I'm very fucking concerned for Oliveira, okay? I rock with Oliveira. He's kind of like the Uncle Phil in my goddamn life, except I've never actually met him. But honestly, I love Oliveira, man. And to see this quick of a turnaround, to see that it's specifically in Brazil, to see that it's kind of reeking of retirement vibes, to see that he's always kind of been a bit chinny, and now he's coming back out, or he's coming back after a quick turnaround, after being flatlined out cold, after something fucking brutal out of a goddamn Adult Swim. You know when you're a kid and you're staying up past 3 a.m., okay? You're not supposed to see what's on the TV, but you do, and you see something fucking brutal. I'm scared that that's what we're gonna see with Charles Oliveira. I'm scared that we're gonna see a fucking first-degree crime on television, unfortunately, and I think that I'm leaning towards Fiziev to win this fight. I think it's gonna be competitive. I think it'll be kind of close. I think that Fiziev's gonna avoid getting submitted and avoid getting dominated, but I also think that Oliveira is gonna avoid getting knocked out. I just think that Oliveira is going to come up short. Especially, I don't think it's going to be a dominant decision. Like, a 10-8 would mean that Charles Oliveira pieces Fiziev up on the feet first couple minutes of the round. All of a sudden, the fight's getting to the ground, and Oliveira is just dominating him, beating the fuck up with brutal ground and pound or a couple close submission attempts, whatever it may be. I think that this fight, even if Oliveira does win a few of the rounds, I could totally see that. Or wins the fight, my boy. I do not really see a 10-8, to be honest. I think Fiziev has underrated takedown defense, underrated defensive grappling in general. And even on the offensive side of things, I mean, people forget, man, this guy's shooting takedowns against Justin Gaethje and giving him problems. This guy's a marauder, okay? So yes, you're making very good points. Oliveira, he has underrated stand-up in his own right, and he has the clear grappling advantage here. I can genuinely see Oliveira maybe, I mean, I don't even want to say dominating, but getting the win here, okay? But I honestly think that Fiziev is comfortable with the pressure that Oliveira is going to bring. I don't think that Fiziev, he usually is the shorter, kind of smaller guy. Like, he was considering moving down to featherweight, so I don't think the size advantage for Oliveira is going to be too much, okay? And honestly, he does have better clinch abilities, but again, I think that Fiziev is just solid in general. He's a solidly well-rounded fighter in his own right. The fight against Bahamunez was pretty underwhelming. He should have kind of got after it a bit more, got the fuck after it, you know what I'm saying? Throwing a little bit more output, could have cracked him a little better, but it is what it is. It was a good win, and Fiziev proved that he's top 10 level. Now, he came up short to Gaethje, and the Unk fucking won that, but I don't know if the Unks are going to continue to beat Fiziev. My biggest concern is the fact that it just reeks of retirement vibes for Oliveira. That's the thing that's holding me back from picking him, because honestly, if it didn't reek of retirement vibes, if it wasn't so quick of a turnaround, and if he didn't get brutally fucking flatline KO'd, I'd be going with Oliveira, because on paper, he does have so many of the advantages. And honestly, I'll fucking say this, stylistically, this is a very, very winnable fight, a very favorable matchup for Oliveira, if it wasn't these specific circumstances. So I know what you're saying. I'm definitely going to say that this is a hot fucking take, but I see what you're saying. All due respect for Charles Oliveira fans, okay? Moving on up next to Tonko9766, saying that Topuria could beat Arman Tsarukyan easier than people think. Tsarukyan has one major flaw like most lightweights, and it's dropping his left hand when throwing his right, and that's exactly how Ilya caught Charles. To be fair to that, okay? I say that Charles is a lot more chinny of a fighter than Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan barely gets finished. He barely gets rocked, okay? Like, the dude has underrated stand-up. Maybe not underrated, but he's got solid fucking stand-up. He knows how to fucking stand and bang a little bit here. But I see what you're saying. That is a bit of a flaw like his. And yes, it is like most lightweights. So, honestly, I think that I'm going to consider this a hot as fuck take, because you're saying that Ilya could beat Arman easier than people think, and honestly, that is fair. I definitely think that a lot of people, especially the fake hardcores, are pushing up their glasses, and they're saying that, oh, Arman Tsarukyan, man, this guy's the next champion. I think that this guy's gonna 49-46 Topuria. I think he's gonna knock out Topuria with some brutal ground and pound. People forget, man, but in general, I would say it's more so hot of a take because you're saying that it's easier than people think, okay? There are some people that really do think that Arman Tsarukyan is just going to be able to go out there and beat Topuria, but like, what are you smoking here, my brother, okay? But honestly, man, I think that with Tsarukyan's solid chin, I think that he would be able to last a bit longer than a guy like Oliveira. I mean, Oliveira wasn't showing the greatest fight IQ in the fight against Topuria, and when he was getting scrappy with it, when he was getting, closing the range and getting in the pocket with him, that's when Topuria was landing the most devastating. I mean, in general, Topuria closed the distance and was landing a couple jabs within the first, early goings of the fight, within the first 30 seconds. Like, he immediately closed the distance. Topuria was so fast with the pressure, and the fact that he hits so fucking hard, he's devastating for anybody, and the fact that people forget, man, this guy put Oliveira in a crucifix, okay? He's got the grappling to go with it. So I think Topuria is so fucking well-rounded to the point where all day, every day, I would be picking Topuria to beat Arman Tsarukyan, but I would say 2 out of 10 times, you know what I mean? I don't even fucking know the number. Maybe 3 out of 10 times. Who knows? Tsarukyan could win. He really could. He is well-rounded. He's got good ground and pound. He's got good grappling. You know what I'm saying? He has kind of everything you need. He has the durability and the well-rounded skill set and is able to hang at a high pressure himself to where I could see him being kind of a, not nightmare matchup, but being able to hang in his zone with a guy like Topuria. But I think Arman Tsarukyan is one of these guys who is very elite. He's a top 3 lightweight in the fucking world, but honestly, I think that this is kind of a fair take. I think a lot of people are saying that Tsarukyan, it doesn't just have to be a hardcore. A lot of people are saying that Arman Tsarukyan does have a real chance or could beat Topuria and that he'll make it competitive, but you're saying Topuria is just going to flatline him. You're saying he's going to fucking flatline him in a round or 2 or something, but it's a hot take, but honestly, I see what the fuck you're saying. I really do. I think that Topuria would be a minus 500 favorite or some shit anyway. Someone around that ballpark, so clearly odds makers and those alike can understand what you're saying as well. So moving on up next to Biscuit Boy saying that Shavkat should fight the winner of JDM versus Islam. He already had the #1 contender fight against Ian Gary, and he technically didn't pull out of the fight at 315. He was injured and he couldn't accept the fight in the first place, so he didn't get a title shot from that fight. And also JDM versus Shavkat and Islam versus Shavkat are both great fights. This is a hot as fuck take. Alright, Biscuit Boy, okay? This is a hot as fuck take. There's nothing wrong with that, but damn, dude. I like this one, though. I gotta respect it. It's spicy. I heavily disagree with you, but honestly, I gotta respect it, to be honest with you. And what I will agree with you is that JDM versus Shavkat is a fucking banger. It's the fight we should have gotten the past 2 fucking years for the #1 contender spot. And Islam versus Shavkat is a battle for the goddamn mountain men. It's the battle to see who's gonna become the bearded samurai. Jesus. I think that's a great fight as well, but in general, I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov, with the inactivity, being so inactive, man, like, listen, when you're getting on 1 year in a row, or 1 year straight, I guess I should say, of being kind of held to a title shot, like this is the next guy in line, we're gonna claim his spot, you're holding them on deck, okay? I think that's fair, but once this kind of happens multiple times, like to the point to where we've been saying for multiple years now that Shavkat Rakhmonov is next for the title shot, and he just keeps kind of getting these around similar wins, like when he beat Jeff Neal, all of a sudden this guy's probably next, and when he's beating fucking Ian Gary, all of a sudden he's probably next, when he's beating fucking Stephen Thompson and shit like that, people are saying this guy's next. He just kind of magically made his way into the top 3 somehow. So I disagree with this, brother. I think he needs one more. I think he needs to beat a Sean Brady. I think he needs to beat a Bilal Muhammad. Somebody in that top 5. Now, it's not to say that Shavkat Rakhmonov, with the wins he does have, like if he was going to be next for Bilal at UFC 315, I wouldn't complain about that at all. And originally he was going to go down for 310. I thought it was kind of a random title shot, considering I think Rakhmonov's wins are a little bit overrated, especially in terms of where they are in the rankings, but he is a good fighter. He's very well-rounded, and he did beat Ian Gary. He did deserve the shot ultimately, okay? And even before that, they were going to give it to him for the same card, so I understand it, okay? I just think the inactivity, man, like, with how quickly the division has moved, and with how many guys are so active and fighting each other, the Joaquin Buckleys, the Garys, the fucking Bilal Muhammad's, Usman's back now, Sean Brady, like, welterweight is cooking. Michael Morales, Leon Mumbo Mouth Edwards, bro, like some shit like that. I'm just saying, Carlos Prates as well, the division is on fire. In my opinion, it's the most stacked division we're getting right now. Not to say middleweight and bantamweight and lightweight aren't cooking, but the fact that welterweight is so fucking stacked, and now Makhachev's getting the title shot next, and you're going to have Brady versus, I think he's got somebody, a fight coming up in October, November, around that range. Maybe you could do it the same card as JDM versus Islam. Brady versus Rakhmonov is a #1 contender fight. That makes all the sense in the world. Same card, Madison Square Garden, the timeline works out. Shavkat wants to return November through January. Brady says he has a fight booked around that timeline. Let's fucking see it. But for Shavkat, the wins he does have, I don't want to just take it away from him, because he is very good. And at the time, he did deserve the next shot. He really fucking did, but I think it's not all in him. If he was in a division like flyweight or heavyweight or something like that, yes, I think that Shavkat, no disrespect to those divisions, especially not flyweight. I love flyweight, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it would be a little more granted or understandable, but for how quickly the division is moving at welterweight, with how many guys are really earning, like genuinely earning a #1 contendership spot, to the point to where now we're getting a logjam of contenders, and I mean this in the best way possible. This is a very good problem to have. You want this out of a division, but I think because it is this high level, because it's moving so fast, and because Rakhmonov is so inactive and has only been fighting once a year since about 2022, I mean, shit, man, I honestly am going to disagree with this. I think it's a hot as fuck take. I think Shavkat, unfortunately, is a victim of his own injuries here. Unfortunately, man, okay? And I think that it's not a Khamzat Chimaev thing where he kind of is just beating an Usman or beating a Whitaker, and then he kind of just has to sit out for a year and deserve a title shot. He's beating Ian Gary, and he's beating fucking Jeff Neal and shit like that, or an old man Stephen Thompson. You know what I'm saying? So Shavkat is very good. He did deserve a title shot at the time, but the division's moving too fast. I just feel like at this point it's unfair to the other fucking contenders, okay? And Shavkat, he's got a good chance to beat him. He's got a good chance to beat a Brady or whatever the fuck. And there's a title fight going on for November anyways. It's not a big fucking rush here, okay? So honestly, hot as hell take, but I totally see what you're saying here, okay? Y'all are really messing me up with these names, okay? Coming from FartAss8299, alright? This is peak degree right here, okay? Saying that Patricio Pitbull is overhated. He lost in his debut, and that's fair, but it's by far the worst stylistic matchup for him in the division. He immediately came back to redeem himself, and he beat Ige. And remember, people forget, man, this guy's 38 years old and coming off of multiple back surgeries, and he's way past his prime. Now, here's the thing, here's the fucking thing, you guys. I actually agree with this. I kind of agree with this, but I'm kind of the devil's advocate as well, because I'm somebody that has actively been kind of shitting on Pitbull. I was the one that I picked Jair to beat him. I picked Ige to beat him. I think that Pitbull can be solid competition for a lot of guys in the rankings, especially a lot of the guys outside of it. I mean, shit, he just beat Ige, who's a solidly well-rounded fighter. He's nothing kind of around that top 10 level, but he's fucking close to it. So beating him, man, and making it a semi-competitive fight, I mean, that's good shit for Pitbull, okay? Now, here's the thing, man. I'm definitely not helping him being overhated, okay? I understand why, because going into it with these Bellator guys that are coming in, you have kind of such a high bar. We've seen it with Chandler, MVP, Patchy Mix, and now it's Aaron Pico, okay? So there's a common trend. So to be fair, from the fans' perspective, we are setting the bar high, and I feel like because he's at the tail end of his career, I feel like people are kind of, not to be that people forget man kind of guy, but people really forget about this kind of shit. You have this thing inside of you called the human heart, and I respect that, my friend, because you're really pointing out the true statistics here. I mean, you're giving him the respect that he fucking deserves here, alright? But unfortunately, a lot of people aren't giving him that proper respect, me kind of included here. He is the unk of all unks. He's the S-tier unk, okay? Like, genuinely, for him being 38, I gotta tip my Ben Askren fro to him. I gotta respect it, but I would say, yes, he's overhated, but also, I feel like against the Jair performance, and even in the Ige performance, to kind of say the opposite here, like, he wasn't throwing that much output. Like, yes, he did beat Ige, it was a good win, but even when he's fucking knocking him out, or getting close to it against the fence, and he's landed a bunch of combinations, the crowd was dead noise. I feel like because Pitbull has had such a hard time generating hype and trying to get fans really invested, there's not much to be desired on the mic, and because he's at such an older age, I feel like fans are so much less forgiving of him, and considering the circumstances, but shit, man, I see what you're saying. It's probably a hot take, but I respect that you're trying to light up your human heart for Christmas once again. I don't even know what the fuck that means, okay? And moving on to the last one we got, man, the legend himself, Brody Reeves, okay, saying that Petr Yan is getting less impressive with these performances. He barely beat Song Yadong in his opinion. He beat Figgy in the closest 5-0 fight ever, and he lost round 1 to Marcus McGee, and his luck is that Marcus McGee lacks the experience because Yan himself is losing moments around 2. Yan isn't as good as he was and is going to be going down in the rankings soon. Sugar, Batista, Umar, and Corey all beat him. The thing is, he had a very close decision with Sugar, okay? I feel like he would give a lot of problems to Batista, and he already did 49-46 Sandhagen. It was a competitive fight, a lot closer than a 49-46 seems on paper, but honestly, man, this is a hot as fuck take. This is a hot take, but honestly, I do see what you're saying, okay? This isn't all bullshit, chat. So, I think that Yan, I don't think he's necessarily getting less impressive. I just think the fact that he's been at the top for so long now. I mean, how long has Yan been in the top 5, okay? People forget, man, how long ago was that fucking Uriah Faber knockout? Like, and how long ago did Yan even become champion? That was like 2020. Yan has been fighting at such a high level for the division, and so many different names, and just fighting goddamn everybody in the rankings, it seems like. I don't even know the fighters that are left in the rankings that Yan hasn't fought at this point, okay? It seems like we're gonna get a lot of rematches in store for Yan, but honestly, dude, I see what you're saying. I think that the fact that he lacks finishing ability and the fact that he does make it so... Hey, I just think it's part of his style. Like, he naturally, because he's primarily a boxer, because he's getting scrappy a lot of the time, because he relies on, you know, kind of the great technique, the great precision. He doesn't have the craziest knockout power in the world. He more so overwhelms guys with his fucking precision and his overwhelming pressure in there, because Yan sets a pretty heavy pace for all the 5 rounds. He's a little slow starter, but he puts on banger after banger, and with that does come competitive fight after competitive fight. And I feel like when you look at it that way, it does kind of seem less impressive, but honestly, I think the fact that it is impressive is the fact that he's right smack dab in the middle of his prime. He's been fighting for fucking ever here. It seems like at the very top, and he's still winning. The fact that he's still winning, like, yes, I understand it. It's decision after decision after decision. And yes, it is slightly less dominant. Like, he went out there and his fight against Song Yadong and Marcus McGee and Figueiredo, it definitely wasn't to where it was like, oh, going against Sandhagen for the interim title. I feel like that was more of a prime Jan. So I do feel like, yes, I see what you're saying. Maybe he has slowed down a bit. Maybe he is a little bit less impressive, but I feel like the fact that he's still winning, and even when he's losing against O'Malley and fucking losing against, oh my God, who was the other one? Who was the other fucking super close decision for Jan? Sterling. It was the Sterling rematch, okay? Even when he's losing to these guys, other than Merab is the only guy to really just straight up beat Petr Yan and really dominate him, okay? Because even in his other losses, he's still making it competitive. So Jan, I feel like he's just kind of one of these guys, maybe it's like a Max Holloway or whoever the fuck, to where it's just they're a victim of their own success a bit, because we as fans get used to them just being at the top for so long that you forget how impressive it really is. Even though, yes, they're close competitive decisions, and yes, he's not getting a lot of finishes, and yes, the Marcus McGee win isn't the best on paper, I think the fact that he's consistently remained at the top for so fucking long, and he is making it competitive against the Young Bucks or the Old Heads or whoever, Jan does not discriminate against full fucking violence against everybody. You know what I'm saying? So this is a hot take, but genuinely I do see what you're saying. There are some good arguments, and I can understand on paper and just even watching the fights why a lot of people could think this way, but I think that it's a testament to how good Jan is, the fact that he is getting consistent wins. So that's my take about it, but I see what you're saying. And that's going to be it for this video, man. That's going to be it for this episode of Hot Takes. I appreciate y'all so very much for tuning in. Thank you so very much for giving me your time and attention. It means the fucking world to me, boys, okay? I'm recording this the day before UFC 319. I'll probably get it uploaded a little bit after the card, but honestly, I hope y'all fucking enjoy it. I hope it ended up being a banger off a card. Who the hell knows? I'm very excited for it, but I appreciate y'all a lot, man. Hope you guys have a good one. Please like this video. Please give a subscribe. It means the fucking world to me. And maybe submit your hot takes in the comments below. I would love to fucking hear them. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, okay? We're just here to shoot the shit and talk MMA. I would love to hear your opinions. Let me know in the comments below, boys. So all the smoke here. Appreciate y'all a lot, and I will see you all next time.